Hi everybody, it's Christina from Pretty Distressed. In today's video, I'm going to be taking this poorly painted piece that I found at Goodwill and giving it a new life with a furniture makeover. I'm going to be doing a black wash monochromatic look on this piece to make it a lot more modern. So if you want to see this makeover, just keep watching. So this sideboard had already had a makeover at one point, but this paint job is chipping, not looking so good, and someone I think sealed it with a oil-based top coat, which is a huge no-no. This piece is all wood, so I want to highlight the beautiful grain, and you guys know I have done natural washes in the past and white washes, but I really am inspired to do this black wash you can find all over Pottery Barn's website. So I'm gonna do my best to get this look for less, but first let's hear about today's sponsor. ButcherBox is super convenient. It's great tasting, high quality meat that you can feel good about delivered right to your front doorstep. You choose your box and delivery frequency. They offer 5 boxes, 4 curated box options, as well as the popular custom box, so you get exactly what you want and what your family loves, and you can cancel at any time with no penalty. ButcherBox sources from farmers and fishermen who meet the highest standards of quality, and it's delivered right to your door in this eco-friendly box. It's 100% recyclable, and everything is frozen at peak freshness. Opening this box is so much easier than hunting around the grocery store for that high quality meat. Packed inside, I had 100% grass-fed beef, free-range organic chicken, and wild-caught seafood. The most exciting thing in my box, though, is my free-range all-natural turkey, and I actually got my turkey for free just for being a new member to ButcherBox. Their free turkey promo is running through November 16th, so you should definitely sign up for a ButcherBox, because not only are you going to get this high-quality, great-tasting meat and seafood delivered right to your door, but you're going to be all set for Thanksgiving as well. We have already enjoyed the grass-fed steaks and the wild-caught salmon this week, and my kids ate every bit, which is saying a lot. So check out my description box link to get your ButcherBox today. Okay, let's jump into it. This is a case where someone put an oil-based top coat over a water-based paint, and that is what you get, a yellow streaky mess. So do not do that. I know I'm stripping all this paint off, so I don't need to clean. I'm just removing my hardware, and then I'm taking my Festool sander with a 60 grit aggressive sandpaper, and in Rotex mode, I am going to strip all of this paint and primer off. I tested out some different methods of stripping on the top, and I'm actually going to share that in a separate video with you, because I know not everybody has a Rotex sander, but when it came down to it, this was going to be the best way for me to remove this paint efficiently. But it still took me days. If you follow me on Instagram, you know this project took me a week longer than I thought it was going to take, because there was so much paint, so much top coat, and so much primer to get through. It was totally worth it, because this is a real all wood piece. It's not veneered at all, which you don't find a lot. I also used my Wagner Furno 300 and a paint scraper to get off the little detailed areas like this. Once all that finish was stripped off, I grabbed a 120 sandpaper and smoothed everything out. I want a rustic finish, so I'm going to stop after this. If you wanted a really smooth finish, you could go ahead and do a 220 after you finish sanding the whole thing with the 120. I want this to have more clean and modern lines, so I'm using a speed square to mark off where I want to cut off the scalloping, and then I'm using my Ryobi jigsaw with a clean cut blade, and I have that in wood mode, and I am just going to follow my lines and cut the scalloping off. Using a jigsaw and cutting off scalloping is a lot easier than removing the base and building a whole new base, and it gives it a modern look for a lot less. After I cut that out, I'm just taking my sander to smooth out any little bumps and jumps that my jigsaw made and remove my pencil marks. Now I'm going to work my way around the whole sideboard and remove any other scalloping. When you have the bottom exposed, it's always a good time to get rid of those cobwebs. After days and hours and hours and hours of stripping, this looks really good. This would look really good natural too, but I had just had in my mind, I want to do this black wash. I've never done it before. I grabbed this Jolie Noir, A, because I love this color, and B, I didn't have enough left to do an entire piece, but I had enough to add water to and do a wash. I did a 1 part paint, 1 part water for my wash, mixed it up really well, and then I'm grabbing my Zebra 2.5 inch trim brush. I love using this on washes just because it covers so much area, and Zebra brushes hold a lot more paint than the leading paintbrush, so it helps me get this done quickly and evenly. And here I'm just testing out a spot by wiping it back with a lint-free cloth because I had no idea how this was going to look because I've never done it before. So, you know, sometimes you just have to do trial and error. But after I took a look at this, I was like, yes, this is it. I'm obsessed. Let's go for it. I used to do washes in sections, but now I like to cover a whole area and then wipe it back. Especially with the black, I kind of wanted the pigments to soak in a little bit longer, so I didn't mind keeping it on there. You just want to make sure that your paint and your wash is wet enough that it's not drying, because you want it to still be wet when you come back in with your lint-free cloth and wipe it back. I use Intex wiping rags, and I really like these because they absorb the paint. If you use a t-shirt or something like that, it might just push your paint around, and you really want to get the excess off, so I'll link those down in the description box for you. So like I mentioned, after doing this side, I was absolutely obsessed, so I just went to washing the entire sideboard. I did want to mention on these trim pieces right here where you have the detailing, I just left that on full strength. I didn't wipe that back at all because it's really hard to sand these. I even had to like chip off with my scraper a little bit to get those final details off, and just brushing it on full strength, it really matches the kind of wash look of the flat pieces that are sanded really well. This brush I'm using from Zebra comes in a great kit, and I'm going to grab another brush out of that kit. This is the round brush, and this helps so much getting into details like this. It just really made it easier to brush around the edges of these doors and the sides. So much painting. Sideboards are a lot of work. After I did one wash, it looked cool, but I wanted it just a little deeper, so I did go ahead and do a second coat on everything. I let this dry overnight in between coats because when you're doing a wash, your wood gets really wet and saturated, so it's going to take a little bit longer for it to dry. The only thing different I did on the second coat is I used my mister to spray down the area before I added that second coat of wash. It seemed to dry a little bit faster on top of the paint versus the raw wood, so the mister just helped my paint stay open so I could get that nice, beautiful wash. Once everything dried, I grabbed some clear coat by Dixie Belle in flat and added just a little bit of my paint to this and mixed it up really well. This is a small can, so I just put it right in here because I'm probably going to use this whole thing, but this just tints this a little bit so that you don't see any haze. I like to do this with dark colors. And I'm going to use my Dixie Belle sponge to apply this. This piece is pretty flat, and I just really enjoy using these sponge to apply top coat lately. It gives you a streak-free finish, and it's really easy to apply. You just have to watch out for little bubbles and not put too much top coat on your sponge. But besides that, I really like using it. I personally chose flat for this piece because I'm going for that raw wood look, and this is going to give me the most matte, natural finish. So I did use the sponge on most of the pieces, but in those little detailed areas, I grabbed another brush out of that furniture painting kit, the Palm Pro, and kind of got any drips or globs off with that. And I know this looks a little crazy going on all white and streaky, but this is what it dries down to. Ugh, it's absolute perfection, you guys. I love flat. And here's a little time lapse of the flat drying down on the top so you can watch it in action. I picked out this Cocoa Bronze Liberty Pool to go with the piece, so I need to get these hinges to match that. So I picked up some of the Rust-Oleum Metallic in the closest color I could find, which was a burnished flat amber, and I'm just prepping these hinges and the screws to paint them. I'm just giving them a quick sand, and then I'm going to clean them with a degreaser and rinse them before spraying. I follow the directions on my can, so I'm just going to do thin coats, and I'm going to let this cure overnight before I add it back onto my furniture. I gave my top coat 2 hours to dry, and then I did a light sanding with a really fine sandpaper and then added a second coat. I let the hardware and the hinges set overnight, and then I came back in the morning and attached everything. My last step is adding the hardware, and I got these Liberty Cocoa Bronze pools because I love the way they kind of gave a monochromatic look. I tried flat black, that did not look good. This was where it was at. Okay, who's ready for the reveal? From cute and country to modern and classic. I am obsessed with the way this turned out. It turned out better than I thought it was going to turn out. It was a lot of work, but this one was definitely worth it. Let me know what you think in the comments. What's your favorite type of wash? Black, white, or natural? Thanks for joining me for today's video. I will be back next week with another furniture makeover, but until then, you can check out some of my other projects that I've linked for you here. Thanks for being here, you guys, and I will see you next time.